When it comes to buying an Apple Watch late in 2022 or 2023, depending on when you're watching this, you have three current options to choose from directly from Apple. You have the Apple Watch Ultra, the Apple Watch Series 8, and the brand new 2022 Apple Watch SE 2nd Gen. I already made a dedicated video comparing and contrasting the similarities and differences between the Ultra and the Series 8, and it seems like you guys really enjoyed that video, so I figured I'd do a similar format of video, but only this time featuring the Apple Watch Series 8 versus the SE 2nd Gen, as it seems plenty of consumers will find some use in my video while either shopping for themselves or for a loved one this holiday season and beyond. By the way, I'll attach a card at the top right if you haven't seen my Ultra versus Series 8 comparison, or you can click the link in the video description. Now, one final thing before I roll that intro, if you exit full screen and scroll just a little bit, you'll see my channel is very close to reaching 60,000 subscribers. If you haven't already or are brand new to my channel, do me a solid and click that subscribe button. My goal is to hit this before the end of the year, and trust me, you won't regret it. We got all sorts of content right here on my tech channel, ranging from unboxings, comparisons, battery drain tests, and some giveaways sprinkled in throughout the year. Alright, with all the introductions out of the way, let's get started. So when deciding between these two, there are several factors to consider, not just price, although pricing is a big part of the decision-making process. That I do know. But just because one is cheaper doesn't mean that it's the better one for you, as both of these watches are highly acclaimed by the Apple Watch community for their versatility, ease of use, and for the pricier Series 8, its abundance of health features, which of course I'll brush up on later on in the video. Since we brought up pricing, let's go ahead and discuss that. So Apple's latest smartwatch flagship, the Apple Watch Series 8, is a fully featured smartwatch with a starting price of $399. That is for the smaller aluminum variant, by the way. So if you want to go with the bigger 45mm variant, then your starting price then becomes $429 for an aluminum casing. Add about $100 to the starting price should you opt to get cellular connectivity on your Apple Watch Series 8. The Apple Watch SE, on the other hand, provides more flexibility in terms of pricing and is the more budget-friendly offering, coming in with a starting price of $249 for the smaller variant and $279 for the larger 44mm variant. This is actually $30 less than when the OG Apple Watch SE debuted. And the good thing is, on the SE, the optional cellular connectivity is slashed in half, with you only having to pony up an additional $50 for that privilege. However, I did want to highlight one of the key differences between these two already, and that is with the SE, you're stuck with only aluminum offerings and cannot get the SE in a stainless steel variant. Stainless steel just looks and feels like a much more premium material, and it is, but in typical Apple fashion, Apple will slap down their tax on you should you choose to upgrade to a stainless steel variant, and you can expect to pay around $300 more over the starting price for the lustrous and shiny stainless steel variants. It boils down to preference, honestly, but in my opinion, the stainless steel watches do look cooler, especially outdoors whenever the sunshine hits it just right. It seems to just glow, especially if you're sporting a strong, bouncy, and vibrant band, which when it comes to band selection, the stainless steel models just seem to pair up much better with a larger majority of bands. So now that pricing is out of the way, let's talk about design, because unfortunately we don't get a massive overhaul in terms of a redesign like the Apple Watch Ultra did, with mostly every facet of these two watches' design largely being very familiar. The Apple Watch Series 8 looks identical in terms of outward design to its predecessor, the Series 7. On the other hand, the Apple Watch SE also looking very familiar, but has some design tweaks that make it look a little more aged. One of the biggest differences between these two watches is the 1mm difference in screen size, which I know, it doesn't sound like a lot, but on a display this small, and especially while having them side by side, the differences quickly grow apparent. Not only that, but a deal breaker for many, the Apple Watch SE, aside from having larger bezels, also does not feature an always-on display. This of course is a strategic move by Apple to cut costs and bring down the cost of the SE as low as possible. And while it normally isn't a big deal, always-on displays are pretty much the norm heading into 2023, so in this case, the Apple Watch SE more closely resembles the Apple Watch Series 4, in the sense that the Series 4 had the same screen size and also did not feature an always-on display. Really, the only way you'd be able to tell this is an SE 2nd gen is by the bottom casing, made of a color-matched nylon composite material. But realistically, you'll very seldomly look at the bottom casing unless you're taking it off to charge it or something. And best of all, for all of my bandaholics, both Apple Watches are compatible with all of the best Apple Watch bands, in the event you want to customize your Apple Watch setup, with only the larger casing models, that being the 44mm SE and 45mm Series 8, being compatible with the all-new Ultra bands. So if you pick up the smaller variants, then sadly you don't get that luxury of matching up with the newest Ultra bands. But back to our displays. The differences are more apparent when you have a full screen watch face with vibrant colors like the new Playtime watch face of watchOS 9. The Series 8 offers nearly 20% more screen area than the Apple Watch SE. So not only do you have more usable screen real estate on the Series 8, but those bezels are considerably slimmed down and makes the Series 8 appear more modern looking. But apart from that, all of our buttons are the same, with the same side button on our right hand side, along with the digital crown with our same speaker grill on the left hand side of the device, with one slight modification, with the Series 8 sporting a singular speaker grill, while the SE having the speaker grill divided into two separate sections, presumably making the Series 8 speakers slightly louder and more precise. Okay, we've discussed the exterior, so now let's look at the differences in features and pay attention, because this is truly what separates the two apart. The cool thing is, both Apple Watches run on Apple's latest S8 chipset, so you won't have to worry about one lagging behind in terms of performance, since they both feature the exact same chipset. And in theory, both should be future-proof the same, having the same chipset of course. The UI is quick and snappy, and never have I experienced any noticeable and considerable lag on any of these. So if the chipset is the same, doesn't that mean the SE is the smarter pick? Well, no, not necessarily, and that's because the Series 8 is geared more towards those individuals who value the suite of health sensors that can assist in daily, everyday activities. Let me explain. Both the SE 2nd Gen and Apple Watch Series 8 are powered by watchOS 9, which is the latest software as of the recording of this video and packs all the latest watchOS 9 faces and support for the best apps. However, there are some apps or programs exclusively featured on the Series 8 that you won't find on the SE. Only on the Series 8 will you find an SpO2 reader with support for a dedicated blood oxygen app, an ECG for detecting signs of or for monitoring AFib, and the new Apple Watch Series 8 skin temperature sensor that serves a dual purpose. It can help females track and detect their menstrual cycles, and it can also aid everybody in tracking their sleep patterns to fix interruptions in it for a sounder and healthier lifestyle. Otherwise, both watches are great at fitness tracking, and both are compatible with Apple Fitness Plus. As for safety features, the Series 8 and SE for the most part are identical in this regard, which I truly appreciate. In addition to existing features such as emergency SOS or fall detection, both watches come with the all-new crash detection capability thanks to the upgraded motion sensors in the watch that can perceive a crash almost as soon as it happens. Obviously, I hope nobody ever has to test this feature, but it's nice knowing regardless of which model you choose, you can at least have some slight peace of mind knowing your Apple Watch can call emergency services and your emergency contacts should you become unresponsive in a bad wreck. Okay, and finally, let's discuss battery life, because on a smartwatch, battery has to be one of your top priorities when deciding on which watch is the right one for you. The good news is that both of these watches are rated at similar battery health levels, especially considering the new low power mode on Apple Watches that drastically extends the advertised battery life. Both watches are officially rated by Apple as having all-day battery life, which on paper means both are expected to provide around 18 hours of use, with the Apple Watch Series 8 expected to reach a much more impressive 36 hours on low power mode. Apple did not rate the Apple Watch SE's battery life with low power mode, seeing as it doesn't have that always-on capability. But one can theorize that the SE should last longer than the Series 8 because of that fact. But don't worry, here on TheJuan&Only, we don't just take Tim Apple's word for it. Stay tuned as I'm finishing up my first ever official point of view style battery drain test on the Apple Watch line, which should give you all a better idea at how battery life behaves in the real world for these watches. If you're excited about that video, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and while you're at it, go ahead and give this video a pre-thumbs up, seeing as how the Apple Watch drain test had to be performed over several days, because I wasn't about to be that one weird dude who has 3 watches on the arm simultaneously. No sir. But anyway, one final thing about battery, and it has to do with charging. Both models are compatible with fast charging, which means you can charge roughly 50% in 30 minutes if you happen to have a 20-watt USB-C power adapter or better. So alright, with all this information being presented to you, what's the verdict? Okay, let's recap real quick the differences. Bigger screen size with reduced bezels for the Series 8. Always on display is only found on the Series 8. Better health sensors and features as well, yet again for the Series 8. Fitness tracking is available on both models. Both come in with the same estimated battery life, although, I don't know about that. I think the always on display is a big factor here, so just wait on my official drain test to see the results of that. And well, that's pretty much all the major differences. So look, here's my recommendations. If you're a first timer into the world of the Apple Watch, I think the SE is a standout option, especially for those individuals who don't actually need or care about the ECG monitor, blood oxygen app, and skin temperature sensor. Just do be warned, if this is your first ever Apple Watch, band collecting can become extremely addicting. And I'm here to let you know that that's okay. We'll welcome you to the Bandaholic community with open arms. Which, speaking of, I co-host a Discord server with my good old friend Mike called Club 09, the fastest growing Apple Watch community, and we're so close to having over 500 members. So if you want to join a space to discuss anything Apple Watch related, consider joining so we can have a nice discussion about all of our favorite bands and things of the sort. Link is in the video description. But back to my verdict, the Apple Watch SE is great for basic fitness tracking, communication, and even family setup. And best yet, with a starting price of $249, it's probably the best value Apple Watch ever. But if you're upgrading from an older watch, especially coming from an older SE, Series 3, or even like a Series 4 or 5, you'll greatly appreciate the enlarged screen that does make a difference and does provide more of that usable screen real estate that I mentioned. The slightly refreshed design and always on display makes the Series 8 a standout option with all the fully fledged features you could ever demand from a smartwatch. Plus, having those health sensors could prove useful for those individuals who want a better grasp at managing their health and can be your all-in-one health device. Regardless, both of these watches are great and they both get my stamp of approval. Now that you know the differences, it's really up to you as to which you would find more useful. I definitely want to hear you all's thoughts on this one. Which one would you pick up if given the choice and why? The SE or the Series 8? Let me know in the comment section below. And with that, hope everyone is enjoying the winter break. Happy holidays to all who celebrate, and you'll be seeing a lot more from me real soon in your subscription feed. Take care and bye for now.